I don't know if I'm dreaming, Rebecca, but...
No, I am real. Sorry.
But your father was a photographer in the army.
Yeah, he did a little bit in the army, you know, like press releases and things like that. And he took a lot of portraiture of me and my mother. So that's where I get it from.
Did it have seriously, did it have an influence on you, do you think?
I think so, yeah, because that's all I can remember, really. Like, that's how I know how to pose as well. I do a lot of self-portraits. So, I think it comes from that. Like, you know, always playing around with the camera as a child and things like that. So I think so.
So he let you play around with a camera?
Not his camera. I'd have my own, like a Polaroid and things like that. That was my first camera.
Okay.
So
what sort of Polaroid shots did you take?
I can't really remember. It's just random snapping. Dolls, you know. I suppose I was constructing back then. Just random shots of my dad and my mother, basically, and my cats. So I haven't changed, really.
You do a lot of self-portraits, and they're very nice self-portraits. Why so many, though?
I feel it's like it can act as like a development for when you actually do the real thing with the real person. So like you can practice the lighting, the way you posed, the hair and things like that. If you might bounce off the hair, reflectors. Just think it's a good way of learning on yourself, taking it to other people.
Lighting wise, I mean, is it hit or miss, or do you set lights, then look at yourself, then look at the camera? How do you work it?
I usually use my bedroom wall as a backdrop because it's solid white. I have got muslin sheets and things like that, but I prefer a solid wall. And then I'll just place one softbox, I guess to the left or the right, I can't remember which side. And I'll put so there's like a line going on the face, and I'll just do it that way then, and I'll put it on a tripod and with a clicker, and I'll just keep going until I find the right one. So it'll be about 10 shots I usually take.
And have you used that sort of technique photographing other people? Yeah,
when I do other people, I feel like it's more room for experimentation, because when you are photographing yourself, it can be hard because you're trying to do this, you're trying to sort the light out, and sometimes I juggle a reflector. But when I work with other people, I get more experimental with lighting. I jump like low and high key light. When I do myself mainly, it's just can just be a bit boring. It's just like a proof before you do the real thing with other people then.
And have you always used lights, or is it do you use mixture of light, natural lighting? Which do you prefer?
I used to like natural lighting, but as I've progressed more in the studio, I do actually prefer studio lights because you can control the mood and the atmosphere of a photo. I do use a bit of studio lighting now, natural lighting now and then with studio lights. So I'll knock, say, 2 lights off, use one and another studio light, natural light, sorry. But studio lights, they're better. It's more controlling. I'm a control freak.
Are you really a control freak when it comes to photography?
Yes. Yeah, ask anyone.
Right, so if you're working with somebody, I mean, I know you work with a band. Tell me about working with a band, because they must be... bands are notoriously difficult to work with, because you're working with more than one person for a kick-off.
They're called Pretty Vicious.
Yeah.
They're not really difficult, to be honest. When I first started working with them, like obviously everyone's shy in front of the camera. The singer wasn't shy straight away, but as time's gone on, they're more confident in front of the camera. And no, they're quite easy, really, you know. Like, they listen to instruction and things if I want to construct it. But yeah, the singer's very creative. Like, he wants his own creative input. So he'll tell me how he wants it to be posed and how he wants it to look. The drummer's quite the same as well, really. Yeah, they're all right, to be honest. At the moment, they're fine.
What kind of things do they teach you in college about lighting?
Mainly traditional flash. So you'd use a trigger, you put it on your camera. You control the levels of light, different like snood heads and things like that. Constant light where, you know, just like it would act as like a cool light. But that's what they do in college. I've just been introduced to LED lights, which I think are mainly for video and stuff, and but I really like when I photographed Cerys Matthews, that was all LED. And I really liked the effect it had. It was easy to use, you know, flash can be really difficult. It takes a while to get the right meter in and all things like that. But I'm thinking of getting a LED light.
And they tend to be adjustable and daylight balanced.
Yes,
as well.
yeah.
Really cool,
That's what I want. I'm going more towards LED now. I think that's the future, to be honest. Flash is good, like, and obviously in a big studio and stuff, you can do so much with the light. Like I said, high and low key. But I think LED light is great because, like, if you want to shoot outside, you need extra light, power pack, and it's just easier. I don't mind flash. Well, that's what I do all my portrait work with flash anyway. But LED is the way now. Once I've gone LED, I'm not going back. Take it into college now. Show off my LED.
Yeah, LED is a nice way.
It's so nice. They're smooth looking, and I love them.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and you can diffuse them. You can do all sorts. Add filters to them. You know, they're as you know, as useful a tool. Really, I don't particularly enjoy flash at all.
No, it's hard work.
It's hard work.
Yeah.
And it's a whole new ball game in a way.
It is hard. That's all I do is flash really in college, in the studio, and it is hard. But like people say in college, like, oh, how do you do the lighting? But it's just practice. Like, you know, just got to practice and practice. You get the hang of it once you've done it for like an entire day. Just practice. And lighting is good because it, you know, creates different like moods and stuff, doesn't it? So.
Yeah. And how do you find working in live gigs? Because live gigs is a kind of different kettle of fish. I've worked lots of live gigs, and the lighting is not what you want.
No.
It never is what you want. There's always reds and purples and greens, which colour skin tones. So how do you cope with that?
I don't actually mind it. The only one I can remember which I didn't like the lighting for was I think it was in Ebervale, in the club in Ebervale. I just couldn't get what I wanted. The skin was looking like he was swollen, no blue. Yeah. But every other gig I've been to, it's been pretty good. Like the Roundhouse in Camden, amazing lighting, and the Club Ivor Bach when they played there. Yeah, they're usually all right. I try and make it work. It's all to do with lenses and things as well, so I make sure I got like a 1.4 with me. You touch wood, it's been okay so far. Don't jinx me now.
And how long have you been working with the band?
I first knew about in about September last year through a friend, and then she said, oh, you know, get in touch with them. But I left it for a couple of months, so I contacted them in December, and they had their first gig. I think it was something like, God, I can't remember. I think it was the 15th of December was their first ever gig. So I contacted them about a week before, saying, oh, look who I was and things. And the manager said, yeah, come down. And I met them, really liked them straight away. They liked me. I did the gig, loved the work, and it's been going from there ever since.
Okay. And cool. it's actually developing into something a lot bigger now, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like I've developed my work from then, because when I look back at some photos, I think, oh, it's slightly out of focus, you know. And I feel like I've grown since then, like photographically, because the work I produce now I feel looks better than what I did then. But I'll probably be saying this 6 months down the line about the work I do now, so I don't think I'll ever be happy. But,
are you never happy with your work?
I'm really fussy. So last night I did a couple of shots which I edited. I put 2 up on Facebook, my page, but I didn't like them, so I took them down. And then I've done this one shot and I really liked it, and I put that up last night, and I was really, really proud of that because it looked amazing. It was just, yeah. But some of the stuff, I take stuff down if I look back on it.
You use Facebook a lot.
Yeah.
Why do you find Facebook attractive from a photographic point of view and as a photographer? I
don't really find it like attractive because it does kill the resolution in the photograph. I'm just very lazy. So I do need to get a web page. I am in the current Squarespace, as Brian told me about.
Yes.
I started doing that last night, but I got really stressed out. I can't do this. But I am going to go on to more of a higher resolution now, because it does kill your images, Facebook. But it's just easier because everyone's got Facebook now, more or less, haven't they? Except for you.
Yeah. But I'm an old fogey, Rebecca.
No. I just think it's an easier way of communicating with people, and if they want to contact me and things like that. That's the only reason why. That I'm lazy, like I said.
Okay. Merthyr, Abertisswg. What has that given, do you think, to you photographically?
I don't know really. Like in Aber, just photographing mountains and sheep and my dad. And then Merthyr, they got a good selection of people in Merthyr. Like, you know, looking wise, character and stuff. So it's good for like street portraiture. But a lot of my photography, the style I do, like with bands and things, my boyfriend is really into music. I've always been into music, so I was brought up with Thin Lizzy and Led Zeppelin and all that. But Chris got me like into Oasis and all the mod culture. And I thought, and I looked at those photos because he's more sound and I'm vision, so I call him sound and vision. So I wanted to just like do something like that, I suppose. Just it's sort of influence as well, you know, on my work. Yeah.
And the band is going places, the band you photographed?
Yes, yeah, they're doing really well. They just started their UK tour. I think it's Manchester tomorrow. They're in Manchester tomorrow. And then they're back. And then they got all the festivals in the summer then. And they've just had the single released as well, which is really good. You should check them out. Promoting, yeah. But yeah, they're really cool guys. You'd have to meet them.
Are you going on tour with them?
I think I'm going to go to a few dates. I know I'm definitely going to the castle. They're supporting the Manics. But they're like, oh, they're amazing. I was listening to them on the train on the way down. They're just really, really good. Like really raw, really real. Just like something about them. You could meet them. They're really, really cool.
So, in a way, they've given you access to bigger and better things.
Yeah, I suppose. Like without them, I don't think I would have access to Virgin. You know, Chalkie started noticing my work when I started working with them. So yeah, I have got quite a lot of thanks to them, really. They are really nice guys. The managers are lovely as well. It's like a little family unit.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And that access and having that ability to be with people when they're not actually performing as well is building up quite a big portfolio, I would imagine. Yeah,
I've got thousands of pictures. They haven't seen all of them yet. So there's thousands of them, like just doing normal things. Like I took one of the bassist he was like drinking tea, but it was like a really good image. It was just normal, and because he's quite hyper as well, so he's like having a quiet moment. I photograph him quite a lot because he's quite hyper and fun and stuff. And when he's just having these solemn few moments, it's good to capture. Because I know their personalities and stuff now. Like you can see them coming out in the photos as well, because I know the stories, what's going on. Yeah.
Are you keeping a diary of that?
No, I have been told to do that. Yeah, just to what happened when but no, I haven't done that. No, but I think there's a writer with us as well. His name's Anthony Griffiths, and I think he's doing a lot of the written stuff as well, because we'll combine together then and do like a book maybe in the future, I think. So I think he's doing all that. He's a really good writer.
Tell me, the one difficult thing, the lead singer is always easy to photograph. The lead guitarist is generally easy to photograph. Bassists are generally easy to photograph. Drummers, when they're performing, is really difficult to photograph, I find. Do you have any tips for me, Rebecca?
He's really cool to photograph, Elliot is. I don't know really, I don't know. I just sort of stand there for about 5 minutes until I get the best shot, because he's great to photograph. His facial expressions as well. I did one like a slow shutter speed of the stick. I don't know really. I just sort of stand there like that.
But I guess because you know them and you know the way the songs work, that must be helpful as well photographically. Yeah,
you know when like things are gonna like change up tempo, down tempo. But yeah, you can get when the singer, because Brad's really he's like really rock and roll. You can see in his face and stuff. Like I got one when he was in Club Ivor Bach, and he was just like, he turned, he did, and it was a really good image. He was just looking. But yeah, I don't know.
So this rock and roll world, but it's portraiture really is is your bag really, isn't it? It's people and getting into their soul, I guess, is it?
Oh, that's deep.
I know that's deep.
Yeah.
But is it true?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd like to know. You can tell a lot by someone's face, a character, and that's what I like about photographing people. because you can just see a glimpse of their history, a glimpse of their past, you know, with the future maybe. Yeah, it's like that. Like with babies, like you look in their eyes and you think, oh, I wonder how much they're going to develop and change. That's what I like about it. I love all faces.
I've got a kind of theory, and it's a bit warped, but it is a theory, and maybe it's because of my age, but everything I seem to photograph these days, I think I'm doing a self-portrait, and it's just really weird. And even with things like landscapes and stuff, and I'm not sure if that's me being thinking too hard about things. Do you think hard about your photography?
Yeah, like when I take the photo, I know what I want it to look like. It's just after once I've taken the SD card out and put it into my computer, that's when I start thinking like how you want it to be portrayed after you've edited it, the light, the colours, and yeah, I do think a lot about it, like what's the story behind it, especially with street portraiture, because I did a whole section on street portraits, and you had to like go up to people and ask them their name and backstory. But like I think I'm not being like, you know, I can't think of the word now, but a picture says 1,000 words.
Yeah.
But I think you don't need that text then when you've got that image, because it does just speak for itself, doesn't it?
Sort of a bit of history about you. I mean, because you went to university. What were you going to do, study in university?
Oh, first time round.
Yes.
Social sciences. I thought I might want to be a social worker, but I was 18 and my parents said, oh, don't rush into it, and I did. I just wanted to move out and be with all my friends, and I dropped out in the second year then, but I wish I didn't do that.
And you've done various things since then? Like what?
I did a foundation in art, which I completed and passed. I then sort of went on to like do various jobs, still doing a little bit of photography now and then. And then I got to about 26, late 2013, and I was fed up working in this one job. And I just thought, oh, I can't do this anymore. So I went back to photography, and then I was going around taking photographs of just anything, trees, horses, just random stuff. And then I realised I do actually like portraiture. So I started doing portraiture with my boyfriend's niece. She's 6, and then I thought, oh, I quite like this, so I've gone on to adults and stuff then. And then I had my interview for the photography course in the January 2014. So that whole year, it was just a year of like practicing and developing. But I forgot the question now, sorry.
No, I mean, the thing is that basically you kind of self-taught then.
Yeah, I would say that, because college is good, but I think a lot of it is your own, like you want to do it and want to learn and develop, because college will teach you the basics, but I go beyond that. I'm always pushing myself. I'm quite a bit of a stress head as well. I like things to be, if I want to look like something, I will get it to look like that. If it takes me like a week or 2 weeks to learn that, I will do it. And I think that's how everyone should be, really, if you want to do photography.
Right. And any specific influences on the way you work, or people you admire as photographers?
Chalkie Davies. Martin Parr, because I quite like how he like captures like everyday life, like the one photo story he did about England.
Yes.
You know, I like that because it's almost as if he's like poking fun at tradition. You know, saying how like mundane and boring we can be. You know, like there's one image of salt and pepper. I quite like that. I found that quite funny because a lot of people do like that on their food, don't they? Annie Leibovitz, I think she's really good, especially like the Rolling Stone stuff. Kevin Cummins, early Oasis. Don McCullin, just because I would never be able to do that, so I respect him for doing that.
He's actually gone on to do landscapes now.
Has he really?
Yeah,
well, it's a change. There's a difference.
Yeah, massive difference. But cool. He went back to Syria for a week, I think, and then just to see. And then came back, and I think he just takes. I think probably if you've worked at that kind of edge of danger, really, that
landscapes are easy.
Yeah. So when you work, I'm intrigued by the way you work with a band, for example. Do you take? I mean, are you because you know them so well now? Do you are your shoots with them now managed? Do you shoot a lot, or is it kind of? Have you got it all? Because you're saying you're a control freak when it comes to photography. Do you have it all mapped out in your head before you do a shoot with them?
I think it's a bit different with the band though. When I go along, it just sort of happens. And like I said, the singer likes to look maybe like a certain way. Like we did something with a mirror, and he looked in the mirror and he said, "Oh, just take it like this and look cool," which it did look really cool. So I took it. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. They just always come out really good because they look great anyway. Mm-hmm. They've got the look and the personality just comes out through the pictures. When it comes to studio portraiture, it's a bit more different. But with the band, I think because they got so much personality and they are like really cool, I think it just happens with them. Right. It just comes out and I just take a picture. Right. And it turns out all right.
Do you take a lot of photographs? I mean, in the sense that I'm finding I'm taking less photographs. When I do shoots now, whereas before I shoot reams of stuff.
Yeah. And
now I just shoot. I know I've got something in the can, and I don't need to worry about. It's not the quantity that matters. Actually, it's the quality of the work. Do you do that now? Or?
Yeah, like for example, when I first started like getting back into photography, I would take loads, on my SD. I'd fill up like a 16 gigabyte card. But now, over the past few months, not so much. Like I do take a lot less now. Because I know, if you get all the exposure right, you don't really need to be taking hundreds because it just fills up your hard drive. It's unnecessary. But yeah, it's definitely less now. I think as you do progress, you learn that you don't really need all them anyway.
You're in going to your second year?
In September,
in September. And you've told us before that the cap and gown is important.
Yeah, I just think, I don't know, it's just something I want. I mean, if I get offered a really great job, well, maybe, I don't know, I like to do it because I've been to uni before. I had to pay for the full amount of money, so my parents paid it. I just like to do it for them, really, more than anything. But they're proud of whatever I do anyway. Yeah. Like if I do get a good job, say in London, my parents will be like, "Oh, you got to go." But I probably do long distance learning or something.
Yeah. Because you work so hard at your craft, because it is a craft, do you find college frustrating?
What do you mean?
Well, because you put so much input into your work.
Right, other people being lazy? Or no?
Well, I mean, is that the case? Do you find that? Or, do you... I suppose what I'm driving at is that you're pushing yourself all the time. You're a creative person and you want the best possible outcomes from the work that you do. So, and because you have this self-educating desire about you, do you therefore find college frustrating because it isn't pushing you hard enough?
Yeah, I can do, because like when we get given the work, I just sort of just go off the brief. I always get top marks with it. It can be a bit frustrating where you're doing deadlines and they get extended and stuff. I sort of just do things on my own, if you know what I mean. I'm a bit of a loner. I'm known for that anyway. I won't share nothing with anyone. But they know what I'm like and I think they accept me. But yeah.
And this goes back to the other theory that we were talking about the other day, is that photographers are loners.
Yes, we are.
We are, aren't we?
Are. If you've got friends, you're not a photographer. I'm joking.
So do you lock yourself in your little world behind your camera? What happens when you're out on a shoot and you've got stuff to do? Is that little bubble?
Yeah.
And how special is that little bubble to you?
That's it, really. I don't really notice anyone around me. Like when I have done gigs and stuff with a band, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, it was really good that night." When I'm like, I can't remember, because you're like, you want to try and get that perfect shot. It's like I've just totally oblivious to what's going on around me. It could be like murdering happening. I wouldn't know. You're there, like in that square.
Yes.
And like I said the other day, when when I've been using my camera all day, I go home, put my camera away, and it's like I still got the sensor in my eyes. It's like, oh my god. But yes, you do get lost with editing as well. You know, I can just I'm quick at editing, but you know, once I'm doing it, I can't do nothing else. Like, I don't watch telly and stuff because I'd rather go home and edit. So I'm just like, you know, my boyfriend and my cats are like, hello, and I'm like, nope. Just get lost, like.
Yeah. So, but I noticed I was watching you work the other day, and you use live view a lot.
Yes, that's recent. That is.
Ah.
That is recent.
Right. Okay. Explain the reasoning behind that then.
This eye, I've got something wrong with this eye, and this is me looking down the camera. Right. I can't remember it's like a stigma or something, and sometimes it can look a bit blurred. So for extra sharpness, I use the viewfinder. Yes. Just so I make sure it's correct. Because now and then, like when I started the course, I was like, oh God, I'm blind. I'm going to be a blind film photographer. I'm going to be a blind photographer. But now and then it's okay. But if I'm not too sure, I will use that just to make sure of the sharpness. Because like it can be a bit of a pain, this can. Okay. It's like a shape of a football apparently. Where it should be, no, a rugby ball, it should be a football.
Yes, that, yeah.
So it's only this eye, and obviously it's my camera eye.
Have you tried swapping eyes?
I can't do it.
You can't do it? But the live view works fine, actually, isn't it?
It's better sharpness for me.
Yeah, yeah. And do you manual focus, or
yes,
do you...
manual, yeah.
Okay.
I can't do autofocus. It's just like, you know, hit and miss, really, isn't it? Sometimes it might work, and then sometimes it's not good.
No, I found that as well. It can be, and especially if you're working in low light conditions as well. Yes, manual focus. You've got a manual focus because otherwise the camera's just searching.
It just goes mad.
Drives you nuts. Interesting. But this guy, I'd like to go back to this business about photographers liking to be on their own, and this theory again. And I'll tell the listeners that I was an only child until I was 7. So I created my own little world, obviously. And I believe you're an only child, isn't it?
I am. I'm the best way to be. But I was always very close to my parents. Right. Because I had friends and stuff growing up, but I was never like in a gang or not a gangy person. I was always close to my parents, and that was it. And then I met Chris, and we are close. And then I got one other best friend, which I'm very close to. I just don't like large amounts of people around me. Right, okay. So I've got my parents, which I'm very close to. I've got Chris and my friend Laura. And I've known Laura like, God, years. That's it. But she's a bit like me as well. She doesn't like loads of people. So I think we attract each other. And she's creative as well. Right. So I think we all like drawn to each other.
Now, talking about influences, a recent influence on your photographic career is, I think, probably a seminal moment in your photographic career. You were posting stuff on Facebook, and you came into contact with
Chalkie Davies. That is right. Now I'm joking. Yeah, Chalk. Yeah, he's really supportive. He's really cool.
Right. And tell me what happened.
I can't remember now. It was about a year ago, and I'm sure I added him, and he started watching my work, he said, and he thought it was good.
On Facebook?
Yeah. I was doing weddings and things like that. And then I started doing more portraiture in the studio, and he started commenting on my work then. And it was just like...
And what sort of comments were you getting?
Just really positive comments, never really said anything bad. He gives me tips on how to place the hands, maybe try different lighting. He sent me this picture, and I can't remember what it's called now. There was loads of old famous paintings of women, right, and how they relate to portraiture today.
It was probably Holbein.
I can't remember.
Was it Holbein?
I can't remember now, but that was very useful.
Right.
Way different lighting shines on the face and things, and I used that as a guide then, as what he sent me. Right. And he'd tell me about how to position hands, make sure the neck isn't bent and things like that. So he's like a mentor, really. I feel like I learn more than him than I've ever learned, really, from, College? I don't want to say that. No, I've got a really supportive tutor in college. Her name's Kath.
So the relationship with Chalkie developed, and he was giving you tips and things and become your mentor. And of course, Chalkie's come to Cardiff to put on an exhibition of his work. What was that first meeting like with Chalkie?
I was a bit nervous, but he was fine. And then after about 2 minutes, I've been speaking to him for ages. It was fine then. Spoke on Skype and stuff. I was just very laid back. He, just telling me the importance of like getting a degree and things like that, and telling me I was good, telling me about his show, and like, loads of different stories and things. Then I met Catherine then, who was friends with Chalkie. So I've met some really cool people. Met you guys. And it's really cool because I don't think I would ever have had the chance to meet these people if it wasn't for like Facebook, going back to Facebook, networking. So I am really lucky. I'm lucky, I think. Facebook, go back to Facebook. How, you obviously value it, otherwise you wouldn't use it. How do you respond to people responding to your pictures? I don't really have many people comment on them. They're just liking. Now and then the odd comment. But I quite like it. It's nice to know what people think. And I put a picture of the band up the other day and someone said it was too dark, but that was the whole point. It was silhouetted. So I had to put something back to that. That's the point. She clearly hasn't got a creative eye. And it's a really cool picture. Once again, they're looking cool even though you're in shadow form. Yeah. It's just basically, the four of them, they shadow out with small aperture, and the shadows of them on the pavement. Yeah. It looks really cool, but get the one or two, don't know.
But the band again is another important aspect, is that because they are getting bigger as a band, I mean, you're creating a style for them in many respects, aren't you?
I don't know.
A photographic style.
I don't know. They've got their own style, or I don't know. Am I?
Well, kind of. You are, because if I photographed them, I would photograph them in probably a totally different way to the way you photograph them. But they obviously trust your style, and they like your style of shooting. Yeah. So that creates their image for them. I
didn't think of it like that, to be honest. I just take pictures. I didn't think of that. Well, thanks.
Because the band had been taken up by Virgin, I mean, and you were still involved with the band. They haven't ditched you or anything.
No, that's what I get paranoid about. I'm terrible. And the man of the managers is always reassuring me. He's like, oh.
So going back to this, that you've created their photographic style for them. There are other people going to be involved now, because as they grow bigger and they tour and all that sort of stuff, and they bring out albums and what have you. So the influence you're having on them is quite big, really. How concerned are you that people are going to manipulate your style or change your style? How strong do you think you are in that area?
I don't think people will manipulate my style because it's my style. No one will ever be able to do what I do. Obviously they work with other photographers, which is cool because, it's a band, isn't it? But I'm pretty confident people will try, maybe, but they'll never do it because I've got my own stamp on it. I've got my own way of editing. It'll never happen because everyone is different. Okay. You look at Chalkie's work and you look at Kevin Cummins' work. Yeah. They're in the same sort of era. Like Kevin Cummins was more north, but they're completely different. These characters, the people who are in the pictures, they're different. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what makes the world of photography so fascinating, really. Isn't
it? It'd be rubbish if you're like trying to be like everyone else. Yes. You've got to be your own style, otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, indeed so. So how do you envisage working with an art director, for example? Because maybe art directors will be involved. How will you approach that, do you think?
Professionalism, because they're doing a job as well, aren't they? And I would like I'm not very good at, I'm not a stylist or anything like that, so it'd be cool to work with someone like that, Yeah, I'd respect them. They're doing a job, I'd be doing a job. It's fine.
Do you do a lot of black and white stuff?
I used to. Yes, I did. I did do a lot, and that's all I did when Chalkie, if I started talking to Chalkie, and he's like, oh, you should try colour. And I was like, oh, no. But ever since that, most of my work is in colour now. I do the odd black and white with the band because it looks cool, you know, like high ISO, grainy black and white. But the majority of my work now is colour because of Chalkie, really, because he told me to try it, and I did. I haven't stopped doing it. It's more vibrant, isn't it? So.
How much editing do you do to photographs?
I don't really do a lot. I tweak the colour, maybe.
In what way will you tweak the colour?
With just colour balance. Okay. Like if it's like horribly yellow, I'll go cooler.
Yeah.
You know, I don't do that much. Like as long as you've got the right exposure settings, that's fine. Because like I work really quick as well, so I'll do a shoot in the afternoon. So I did a shoot a couple of weeks ago with this model for a project I was doing. I don't know, I think I met her about 12. We finished the shoot at 1. I got home by 1:30. I had produced like 10 images by like 2:45. So I don't do a lot of editing, just very...
And how many images did you create? How many images did you have that you were really happy with by the time you'd finished editing?
About 15.
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
I don't like to do stuff because I think it's a waste.
Yes, and there tends to be a lot of repetitiveness as well.
Yes,
there
is, especially if you've got the same clothes on and stuff like that. So you've got to be careful not to overdo it.
Yeah. Dream job, what would be your dream job?
My dream job would just be being a photographer, which I am. Maybe freelancing for different companies, like, you know, like editorial work and things like that. That would be my dream job.
Do you fancy doing documentary style photography?
Yeah, I used to do it, but then I sort of went off it a bit when I started doing more like studio work. I used to do it all the time, but I haven't done it for ages now. But the next term, the project is documentary, so maybe I'll get back into it. I like people looking at the camera, see. I like eyes. Whereas before I'd be a bit like, you know, I'll just take them when they're not looking. But I think it looks more striking with the eyes.
Yeah, it was really funny yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? Anyway, I was in Cardiff and I was walking back to the train station, and I always have the camera with me. I always carry it with me, and I always miss a train and I have to wait another hour before I go home. But there was a guy, and he was it was very strange. He was sculptural. He was on his. He was not on his knees, but he was down, and he wasn't a down and out or a tramp or anything, but obviously something major was going on in his life. And he was holding his head, and what he was doing, and he was absolutely perfectly still. It was one of those, he looked like, I mean, you could make a bronze out of him, you know. And it's kind of those moments I find attractive. There were no eyes or anything, but I just found the shape of his body and what he was doing, and the setting where he was by a white door, you know, and all that sort of stuff. It's interesting you were talking about eyes. If you were working on large format stuff, you could just have eyes and just this area of the face, you know, eyes and nose and mouth, and everything else falling away. Yeah. You could end up getting a really cool job.
That'd be alright, wouldn't it?
Which would mean that you would have to give up college. Would you do that?
I could, as things see, I'd have to just go with the job, but I spoke to my tutor about this, Kath, and she said I could do like a long distance learning, because I could do the both. I juggle really well anyway. I work better under stress. If I've got more things to do, if I've got deadlines, I get a buzz off the anxiety. I like working like that. So I think I could do the both. I really do, because I want to do freelancing anyway. But I think I would like to complete it, because just to make my mother proud and my dad.
And they want to be there on the day you get your cap and go.
Taking pictures of me.
Right. Digital or film?
Digital.
Okay, why?
Because, like I said, I like being in control of things, and I like looking at it on the screen. That's mainly. I do like film. I've done stuff film. But it's just like the waiting, and it's like, oh, I want to look at them now. I don't mind it. Maybe I'll do more in my second year, because I got access to the darkroom anyway. maybe I will. I'm afraid of trying new things now because I think, people might think it's rubbish. So I've got loads of pictures I don't put up, which maybe I should start doing. Like, different abstract stuff.
There's tons of stuff I don't show, really.
I think all photographers are like that, I think. A lot.
Do you go back and look at stuff at all?
Yeah.
Did you find things when you go back?
I went back yesterday looking for a few things on Facebook, and I deleted them because I thought, they're terrible. It's awful. What was that about? I get really because you don't know who's looking at your page, see either. So I was like, delete. Don't want these on you. But yeah, I do that a lot.
College work. Now, some have an academic sort of lilt to them.
Yeah.
Others are more practical. How do you find your course, and how is it working out for you?
Mine is a bit of both, really, because it's 2 days a week, 9 till 6. I do appreciate, I know there's a lot of writing, but I do appreciate it because, I'm learning things which I didn't know before, like constructive photography versus documentary photography, and I wrote like a 2,500 word essay on it. And I do appreciate the written side of it because I didn't know those things before, so it's giving you more of a wider knowledge of photography. There is quite a lot of practical stuff on there, but you need to more or less do that in your own time. Because one of my tutors is very supportive, Kath, with the written work. So if I'm not too sure about references, she'll sit down with me and she'll talk you through. But no, I think it's good. You are learning about different. What else was it? It was constructive photography versus documentary. What does a photograph say, and what does it mean? Where does it originate from? And innocence and truth in a photograph. So I think it just helps you develop and understand the practical more once you've done the theory. It's like driving. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do appreciate it because I didn't know. Have you heard of Susan Sontag? She's like a photographer. I know she's not a photographer.
No. Have you read a book about photography?
Well, it was just...
It's mind-blowing, isn't it?
Yeah. And Graham Clark.
Yeah.
I didn't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
So I feel perhaps it has improved my skills,
Okay.
in actual practical work.
Right.
Then.
Do you think that the gap, that because you've been to college, then dropped out and then did various other things, do you think that has helped you manage better as somebody who's starting off on a career?
Yeah, because when I was younger, I didn't want it that much. I just weren't bothered about anything. But as I've got older, I want it more, and I'm really competitive as well. I'm terrible. I'm really, really competitive. My tutor says that all the time. But you got to be, otherwise you won't get anywhere.
Yeah.
She says to me, "Oh, I've got to give others a chance." I laugh at it, but in the real world, that doesn't happen.
No. Have you found that when you're actually shooting bands and stuff, how competitive that?
Oh, it's very competitive. Yeah. No one's allowed backstage with them. That's my area. When I first started doing stuff, the guy who does the writing's got video recorded it, and he's like, all you can see is you like this, batting everyone out of the way. I was like, but you gotta be, because a lot of them are men as well, and some of them, I can remember this one guy who was like, he had a 5D or whatever, something like that. And he's like, looking at my camera. But I pushed him out the way. He walked out after 3 songs. I was like, have that. Yeah, you have. And I think because I'm a girl as well, you have got to be strong. Because I've noticed that a lot of people in the media, I've seen cameramen from the BBC, they're all men. There's not very many women. Doing it for the girls. But I get on with blokes better anyway. But I think it's very, very competitive. Very...
Yeah, but there are some really fine female photographers.
Oh yeah, Sally Mann.
Absolutely.
I love Sally Mann.
And she's just brought out her autobiography.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, which is very revealing and stuff.
Oh, right, okay.
So it'd be worth you getting hold of her.
Yeah, I like Sally Mann.
Yeah.
She's really good.
Yeah.
Can't think of it. Annie Leibovitz obviously have said that.
Yeah. But I mean, from a female point of view, competitive and male dominated. So you're a mold breaker then, are you?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that. There's loads of them about, isn't there? But like, I've seen a few like girl photographers. I know one, she's quite good. She's only 17, she's good. I'd say she's very good. Then I see other ones, it's a bit flimsy. You know, you have got to be like, don't take no crap, like, do you know what I mean? Because a lot of girls could be a bit like, I'm not stereotyping anyone, but some girls can be a bit weaker, can't they? But to push through, you need to be, I'm quite cocky, I suppose. But like, and like confident, but you've got to be like that.
Does your knowledge and does your talent enable you to be that cocky? Because you've got a real understanding of the medium and the way it works, and what's possible and what's not possible. You understand the box. It's not a mystery to you.
No.
So then you can apply the other things and bouncing people out of the way because you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm only like that in gigs with other photographers. When I'm working with people, I'm not like that at all. I'm really nice and really calm and just friendly. No way do I have an ego or attitude with anyone. It's just when there's other photographers about and they think they're, getting one over on me, it's not going to happen. But that's just the way it is, isn't it?
Yes.
But I'm not rude. If they like it with me, I'll be like it with them, but I'm not rude to anyone.
Yeah. Would you ever want to be a press photographer?
No. Not into paparazzi at all. Don't class it as photography.
Okay.
There's no art form in that at all. It's just making money.
Okay.
Oh, is that the wrong thing to say?
Absolutely not. No.
I just don't like them. They're invasive. Like, like rats. No. You do mean like paparazzi and stuff, don't you?
Yeah, but you can. I suppose that there's the paparazzi and the people who go looking for, the specials.
Yeah, I don't like stuff like that.
No, and that's a really weird world anyway, to want to be able to be that voyeuristic, to do that sort of stuff. But no, I'm talking about PR world or just, I suppose Western Mail world,
Oh, stuff like, sorry, I thought you meant paparazzi.
Yeah. I'm splitting it up now. Paparazzi to one side, right. Yes, they are vermin.
Paparazzi, no. Press, well, to tell you something, I've got a Western Mail cover on Saturday of Chalkie.
Ooh.
Stuff like that. Yeah. Paparazzi, no, but I've done bits and bobs to the Welsh papers and the valleys before anyway. As part of a charity work, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Just the stuff when you see them on the floor and I don't like stuff like that at all. That's why I don't class it as photography. Just think anyone can do that with an iPhone. So sorry, I got confused.
No, not at all. It was my question that wasn't clear. I did the first couple of Soon festivals that happened in Cardiff.
Oh yeah.
And it was really funny because it's funny watching some photographers work. And there were people there with flash and stuff, which I kind of thought.
I have got a flash, but I try not to use it.
And right in the face of performers, which I don't like.
No.
But it is hard work. Doing gigs is tough.
It's like a workout.
How do you approach it? Have you done any festivals at all?
I haven't done any festivals, but I think I'll be going to Reading this year with the band. So that'll be an eye-opener, because I haven't done any festivals yet.
But you'll have backstage access, all areas.
Rock and roll. Yeah, it'd be good. But when I've, with the other gigs and stuff, it's like a physical workout. My camera's heavy as well. So it's like your neck's aching, your legs are aching, you're dripping with sweat. And I usually wear these jeans, they got holes in them, so I don't wear away my normal jeans. And then my knees are battered and bruised. It's fun, and I enjoy doing it. Just, it's hard work.
It is hard work, yeah.
Because I'm more focused on the portrait side of it. See, I like live photography, I don't mind it, but I prefer portrait, backstage and stuff. They can carry on, but they're not coming backstage.
So where do you see yourself in a few years' time? I know you're going to be working for doing stuff for the BBC shortly.
Yes, with Derek, the Walking Weatherman.
Are you doing the whole series with him, or?
I'm not sure. The guy, do you know Steve Freer?
Yeah.
He messaged me, and I think it's over 2 days, I think.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we'll see. I like Steve and Tudor and stuff, so it'd be cool to see them again.
Yeah, Tudor's a good cameraman.
Yes, he is. He's very nice.
Yeah, good cameraman. That's interesting. And so a cover on the Western Mail, hey. That's
I only
cool.
found out the other day, because he said I'm having it, but no, it might look now, it'll be something else. But he said, you'll have full photo credit. And I think this guy called Dave Owen's going to write a piece on me as well.
Right, okay.
So.
But are they paying you?
No. We just get full credit. I don't know how that works. I'm happy with the credit.
Are you?
Yeah.
Happy with the credit? Stick an invoice in as well, Rebecca. At college, do they give you any business advice about how to run a business, how to be a freelance photographer?
I think it starts in the second year, that does. And my tutor, Dan, is going to be teaching us that, how to do a business and how to promote yourself. So in the second year. But I'm a bit lazy, so I'd rather have a manager. I can't be
That's
dealing with
a
all the
very,
paperwork.
very good idea, actually. Somebody to do the admin for you.
Yeah, I'd love that. My mother'd be great at that. She would. She'd be in her element.
There you go, then.
I should get my mother to do it.
Yeah.
I don't like paperwork. So I'm just designing the web page now. And I'm thinking of proper business cards. So, yeah, it's all happening.
Excellent. And the other thing is that, do you print much of your stuff?
Yeah, in college and stuff. And my friend, actually my best friend, is just going to be taking over a printer business. So that's always handy. They're relatively cheap and they're good prints as well. So that comes in really great. It's like meant to be, because she's an animator artist, but she's a graphic designer now working in the printer business. So she's going to be taking over that. So it comes in very handy.
Wow. Your world's your oyster at the moment.
It is, It's going to I hope it don't go down like a lead balloon.
And you'll have to visit Chalkie in New York.
I'll be alright if he wants me out there, I'll be going. I said that to him, like, I'll come and see you. And Catherine. Catherine lives in Washington. Go and see Kath as well. Great. I love New York, been there twice.
It is an amazing place, isn't it?
It is. And he lives in a cool part as well. So yeah, knocking on his door. Hello!
I'm intrigued by mentoring, and I think it's really important that young photographers are helped on their way, and that experienced photographers pass on as much knowledge as they can. I think that's vital. What has Chalkie given you? What? Because he has vast experience as a photographer.
Oh yeah.
In both studio work and in the field, and photographing bands and all that sort of stuff. Tell me what he's actually given you.
Just the confidence to do. He's really supportive, and it just makes me feel a bit more like, oh yeah, I can do it, because he did it, and he's from Cardiff. I'm from Wales as well. So if he can do it, I can do it. And he's really just encouraging. It's just great. It's a bit surreal really, because he's photographing for years and years and years, like people I grew up listening to, and I like his style of work as well. Like Sid and Nancy, I went through a big punk phase when I was 17, and it's mad that he took that photo. So someone from Cardiff, from Wales, can do it. So can I. It gives me confidence.
And the backstories to the photographs are really interesting, aren't they?
Yeah, especially Sid and Nancy. I never would have thought,
That's an extraordinary story, and when he talks about how cool they were and how normal they were.
Yeah. She was only young. She was 20 when she died, wasn't she? Or something like that.
Yeah.
I thought she was older than that for some reason.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. So you're looking forward to meeting the Manics?
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? I love the Manics. I met Nicky Wire once in Cardiff when I was 18, hence the leopard print. Massive Manics fan. And I was like, oh my god, and I had this little bit of scrap paper, and he signed it for me. But yeah, I hope I do get to meet him. I should do, shouldn't I?
Oh, I guess if you're treble A, access all areas, then you probably will meet them.
Yeah, it'd be cool, because I love Holy Bible, Generation Terrorist, all that. I grew up listening to them as well. I absolutely love the Manics.
So you're going to photograph them, I guess, aren't you?
I don't know if
you get half an opportunity.
I'd like to have a portrait of one or two of them, you know.
Yeah, I did LAN, because I work in LAN, and I've been doing it for 9 years, I guess. So I've met a lot of people who've sort of and old ex-punks, and
right.
so that's interesting as well. But I photographed Nicky White, and he did take his shades off for me.
Did he?
He did. Which was really nice, and you get that kind of rapport with people, and people feel comfortable, and you just took them off, and I took a shot, and he wasn't fazed. He wanted me to take a photograph, actually, because everywhere else he's got his shades on.
He's cool, Nicky.
He is a cool guy, isn't he?
Shame about Richie. Rest in peace, Rich. 20 years. Yeah. Big Manix fan back in the day.
Yeah. It's a rare thing, I'm thinking when I was growing up, bands in Wales was kind of, they never came to Wales. No. Big bands never came to Wales. The Beatles came to
Abergavenny as well,
and they went to Abergavenny. But the only band I remember seeing was I saw Pink Floyd in the Afon Lido in Aberafan, and that was about it.
That's mad. No?
It is mad, and even in the early 70s, when I was, and I guess that's why Chalkie went to London, because that's where it was all happening, and you've got to go to places where it's happening.
Yeah, it's true. A lot of bands still don't come to Wales, though. Like they might come here like once, and then 3 years later, it's not continuous,
So, and, when you think about the band scene in Wales, you've got the Manics and the Stereophonics and those types of bands.
Super Furries.
I've only photographed them once, and they did, just before they split, or stopped gigging, really.
Oh, right.
That was interesting. But I photographed Griff quite a lot.
Yeah.
He's an interesting character to photograph.
Yeah, he does look cool.
Yeah. Any ambitions? Is there a particular band that you think, oh God, I really like to do that?
Kasabian.
Really?
Kasabian, yeah. My Stone Roses, but back in the day, like Oasis back in the day. But modern day, really, Kasabian are my favourite of this generation.
Right.
Yeah, I think Kasabian. Be cool. I love Tom and Serge. I do like them. I've got loads of different, most of my music taste is quite quite old, really. Small Faces, Specials, the Kinks, Beatles.
Right.
So all that sort of stuff. If I go back in time, it'd be great.
Right. The only story I have about the Small Faces was they did come to Bangor.
Oh, right.
Right, but they were kind of, it wasn't the original Small Faces. They were, they were bits of it were still there.
Yeah.
But, they came to a hall which overlooked the Menai estuary, and they had to tape up the windows.
Yeah.
And because they had those huge stacks of behind them and stuff, and the windows were moving. They were literally moving in and out, and they had complaints from Beaumaris, which was directly across the water, about the noise. And I was deaf for a week.
Oh God.
It was that loud.
I'm surprised your hearing recovered, because when I saw...
Do you, that's something, do you wear plugs when you...
I do now. My hearing's a bit like, do you know, I'm in the museum, I don't know if it's just because it's equi, but I can't hear in there properly, because I've been into loud gigs. I've always gone to gigs and stuff, but when I started doing the band, I realised how important it was to wear...
Yeah, because you're really close to the, the PA systems.
Because it was I didn't really notice, and then after I think it was the second night of the first lot of gigs, I was just I need earplugs. So when we went to Maida Vale, studio in Maida Vale, they had a jar of earplugs. I was like, have them. Just nicked a load of them. And ever since that, I've worn them because my ears...
So you photographed them in Maida Vale?
I did, yes.
Ooh.
It was a very cool studio. Very cool. The Beatles recorded there back in the day.
Yeah.
I think it's being knocked down next year.
Is it?
I think so, yeah. Something like that. Something's happening.
Right.
Yeah, I've been to quite a few places with them. Rockfield.
I did Rockfield.
Yeah, it's cool. I'd love to live there. One day I will.
I remember there was a Welsh band, and they were a Welsh-speaking band, and they were recording. And in those days, because they couldn't afford it, they would record late at night.
Oh, right.
So they would record all night. And I remember going down in a van, as you did in those days, in the back of a van, sitting on whatever was comfortable in the back of the van, and we arrived at Rockfield. Extraordinary place, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely. It's just taken aback. It's just so beautiful. It's just so peaceful as well.
Yeah.
But when I took the boys to the local supermarket from Rockfield, and I was pulling out, and it's quite a narrow road, isn't it? So I had the 4 of them in the car, and I was pulling out this road, and I was like in the middle of the road, and this woman went mental on me. I was like, what? And the boys like, you're in the middle of the road. So I nearly killed Pretty Vicious when we're driving. That wouldn't have been good, would it? I was just like, oh. They're like, you're in the middle of the road. I was like, oh. But I realised.
Good stuff. Excellent. Enjoyed the conversation. Marvellous. I hope you enjoyed doing it as well.
Yes, I did.